What's up, RuneScape.com, YouTube.com? What up, subscribers, supporters, my people? Thank you for tuning in. And today I just want to talk about a subject that's like been on my mind for a while. And that's effectively like AI coding, vibe coding, things of that nature. And I just want to give my thoughts on that and like potential solutions to move people through who are like dealing with this or something like that. I don't know. Okay. I just have a couple issues with like the mainstream narratives on stuff like vibe coding and the problems I have with it, and then like potential fixes to those problems for people who are falling into that category of vibe coder or something like that, right? Whatever. So I'm just a guy who likes to make things, create things, and just use the tools available to create whatever I want. And AI has been the LLM has been the best chances at, it's been the most explosive for all the things I've wanted to create. I've never felt like the world is in my hands. I can just do things now ever since LLMs came out. Now, that's how I feel, okay? When ChatGPT dropped, I've been using it every day. I got the premium version or whatever. I don't have the business version, but I've been using Plus. That's what it's called. And I've been using ChatGPT every day and just exploring every little facet that I can with it. Like, can it help me write? Does it help me with videos? Whatever. Da da da. Does it code well? Where does it break? Where does it da da? So I've just been using the crap out of it, and I've been using it since 3 has dropped every single day. Okay, so that's just kind of my qualifier, right? And I've been able to accomplish things. Okay, I don't have any like $1 million projects or anything like that, but you know, I guess one of my biggest accomplishments has been using AI to build a channel to monetization, where now if I don't do anything, I make $50 a month. It may not seem like a lot, but to a lot of people, I feel like that's a big milestone. I didn't AI automate anything, but I used it to what it is out the gate. I guess the best way to explain the usefulness of like large language models is they are a multiplier of who you are. That is it. Nothing more, nothing less. So if you are 1, it is a 10x, whatever, you know, whatever ratio exists. It does multiply who you are. But if you're trying to skirt things or do things whatever, I'm not going to say that. If you're trying to like just half-ass everything, you can't multiply 0. Okay, so if you just go on to ChatGPT and type in "make billion-dollar company," press enter, and then copy paste the result, there's nothing really there. You know what I'm saying? Now, vibe coding. People say vibe coding all the time. I watch a lot of videos and they say vibe coders are making AI slop, all the terms, buzzwords. I don't truly understand what a vibe coder is doing, but from what I can understand from what comments say and stuff like that is that the vibe coder is doing what I just said. They just copy paste things and then don't really try to know anything. They're just like, give me. And that's the best I can think of. If that's what you're doing, you're not going to have results. I mean, based on the logic I just used before, it's a multiplier of yourself. So if you have like what you know, it can make you better at it. Okay. Or if you don't know anything and you want to get better, it can get you there. Like another way I've looked at ChatGPT, it's like having a best friend who always replies, always on your side, and that best friend has like 3 to 6 months experience in every subject that it's been trained on. So just effectively everything in the world, right? Okay. So like from PLC controllers to basic maintenance on a lawnmower to making a video game in JavaScript or Lua or Python or C# or whatever it is, whatever, Unity, Blender, whatever, you know what I mean? Like as long as it's not too niche of something, it is a conglomeration of all the averages of everything in the entire world, whatever. So as long as it's like semi-popular, the thing you're trying to dive into, it's going to give you, it's ahead of where you're at if you're trying to learn from that perspective. But that's kind of how it breaks down, okay? So the first thing I would say if you're trying to get something done with AI is don't associate with a vibe coder label. Don't call yourself a vibe coder. Don't say you're a coder. Don't say you're a whatever. Anything that these things are trying to, like, it's like dressing you up in makeup to make you look like fuckable at the bar. But you know what I mean? Like some no offense to the ladies out there, but you know, there's hoes at the bar are not people you're going to marry. You know what I'm saying? You're trying to be somebody who's going to get married to the career. I don't know. That's a weird metaphor. But like you hopefully kind of get what I'm saying there. So don't use those labels, man, because then you got to dress yourself up like a whore just to get fucked. But people who just get fucked, they don't get married. You know what I'm saying? If you're trying to get married to a career to get like somebody to take care of you or something like that, you're not going to get there doing that. Okay. Now I'm way on too many tangents. I'm going to try to reel it back. So get away from vibe coder. Get away from coder. Don't say something you're not. There's ways to say it, and that may not help you that much, but like it'll at least give you some solid ground to stand on. Like for me, for instance, the term I've came up with, what I call myself now, like to myself, I don't really, I mean, I've described it with my girlfriend, but the thing I call myself is an AI operator. I just took what I was and applied it to AI. Now, I think that might be a term. I think that should be the term for like where I see the future of AI actually going and how it's going to be used in the job space. Essentially, we're going to be taking like factory workers, which used to be factory workers are like the lowest levels of society, lowest productive, whatever, you know what I'm saying, lowest levels of society, which factory workers replaced farmers, okay, because farmers got moved out, and there's still some farmers, I understand, but edge cases, whatever. Generally now, most people in the United States are doing low-level labor, which is like factory work, etc. And then AI is going to move that up, and everybody's going to essentially, the newest, lowest level of labor is going to be operators, okay? AI operators doing like, you know what I mean? I've already been seeing it in factories. Like there's so many operators, whatever. You know what I'm saying? That's what my prediction for the future is going to be. But that's what I feel like I am. I'm an AI operator. All I do is I use the AI and I try to achieve specific goals using the constraints and the strengths of AI to produce things. Okay. So by calling myself an AI operator, because that feels right and it sounds right, and it's not, it doesn't sound like I'm saying it's something I'm not. I've removed imposter syndrome because I feel like that's the biggest issue. And that's why it's like mockingly calling people vibe coders, is because they're challenging people's identities and making them imposters, which, like, if you have imposter syndrome or something of that nature, it's going to hobble most of your decisions and really, really cut into your productivity. So what is an AI operator? Somebody who uses AI to achieve something. An operator, somebody who uses a machine to achieve a task given to them, right? So that's what AI is doing. So how do you achieve that now? Okay, so now we're AI operators. We're all AI operators. Everybody come in for a group hug or whatever. Do your thing. How have I, and this may be different for people, but how have I haven't really looked at tutorials of people how they do AI automation or anything like that. So this has just all been from like controlled, like shielded from mainstream uses or company usages of AI or something like that. Or I really don't know what vibe coders are doing. So that's what I'm saying. Like, as a solo developer, solo operator, whatever, how have I accomplished things? And it's been the best way I've been able to leverage ChatGPT or something like that is simply understanding that it needs to be like, you cannot, how do I say this? It's in my head, it makes sense, but how do I say this? The best, you're don't make the AI build it all for you, okay? Don't make it do like too many complex steps or whatever. What I try to do is, I think of another way to think about AI is that it is a 3D printer. But this 3D printer is not capable of building shapes or anything like that. It can, based on your skill and how you know how to prompt or whatever. But I'm saying, but like, I have my 3D printer make me Legos, okay? So, you know, you think about like the crazy contraptions that like people make with Legos and stuff like that, but they're all just starting from little blocks and they're placed together one at a time. So when I think this is called deterministic. When I'm using AI, I try to isolate, when I'm thinking of the system, the end goal that I want, I try to break it into its atomic structure as much as possible and then feed that into the ChatGPT to do it atomically. Don't let it run away. Don't let it create. Don't let it embellish. Don't try to max out the characters to get the most work per response, stuff like that. Try to narrow it down as much as possible to make the smallest Lego possible, because the smaller the Lego, the more precise and concise it's going to be, because you've heard people say AI is really good at small stuff, simple stuff. But what is a complex system? It's just a conglomeration of a bunch of simple systems put together, right? And it all comes down to you and how you try to like, and your knowledge on the thing you're trying to build. Like, how can you, it's not like you don't need to know literally how to build every atom or electron in the system, but the more you know about it, the more that you can put guardrails on the AI you're using to then create the Legos and then start piecing it together yourself. So then another thing that's kind of emerging from this is that I don't use Cursor. I don't use any live agents. AI is so like because like you need massive guardrails on the thing to control the power that you're wielding. I don't trust any of those things, especially when you see videos about people doing poison attacks, or they're putting code in their bios or something like that. So when you have a live AI agent, it will just brick out or like spawn gibberish or destroy your database or whatever. You know what I'm saying? That's giving autonomy to an AI that's not there yet, or may never be there. But like, if you operate it, what I'm saying is that I don't use Cursor or any of those things. And I'm sure people use them. I just don't do it because the system I'm using may be slow, but it works. I've been able to make mods, build assets, code programs on my computer, little apps that do things for me, like timesheets, counters, stuff like that. I can't think of them off the top of my head. I've started a bunch of different products, like my own game engine. I've done development for Salesforce. I've done reinforcement learning in a simple environment for a card game. I've made mods for 7 Days. I've made mods for GTA 5. I have made simple arcade games that all have not, like, I had, like, there's bugs obviously eventually, but they're all proof of concepts. But I've been able to whatever. I've been able to build systems in real life. I've been able to program. I've made like retort systems for charcoal. I've fixed machines at my job. Like, I think I've said it before, PLC controllers, I've tuned them. PID controllers, I've tuned them. I've you know what I mean? There's a lot of different applications for it if you just don't get greedy scope and just zoom it in. Like, if you got a big picture, try to like break them up to a bunch of little pictures and then implement that way, iterate that way. You're going to get really good success rates doing it this way. It's just when you try to let it do too much and you're not like, you don't have a very systemized approach. Like when you take a Lego, QA that Lego, like have quality assurance on it, debug it, use multiple chats, whatever, to grade each other. Like, I've opened multiple windows. Do you think this system, like, do you think this code fix is going to, here's the original code, here's the new code suggestion. Can you rate if it's a good fix or not? Like stuff like that, like multiple window engagement and stuff like, there's an infinite number of tactics if you just use a simple model to just iterate on, and don't give in to all of the hype surrounding all these new emerging products and stuff like that, which, like, I'm sure the technology is cool and stuff like that, but I just feel like slow is better, baby. Like, you got like ChatGPT, what LLM is, it's right in your hand, and it's such a powerful device. Don't get greedy and keep wanting to grab those other things, because there's all the horror stories of like agents deleting entire databases, code coming, or products coming out, and then because they didn't do like security checks, or like that part of the system, they're like, oh, we have a working product, but we did not look at the security because it wasn't on their mind, or I don't know. You know what I'm saying? There's an infinite number of situations where like the more advanced tech leaves you open to vulnerabilities and stuff like that. And I guess I'm kind of like ranting all over the place a little bit too much now. So I feel like that's a good place to go, or to stop, is to like, don't say you're a vibe coder. Don't say you're a coder. Don't say this or that. If you don't say things you're not, and then like lean towards this AI operator framework, and you're going to get a lot more out of AI. But those are my thoughts. So cool beans. If this doesn't do well, appreciate everybody. Subscribe, comment down below, whatever. Hope this helps someone out. Take it easy.